It's impossible to forget today's guest as EastEnders iconic Grant Mitchell. There you go. That was a long time ago. But away from soapland, Ross Kemp has faced terrifying encounters filming documentaries. He's become a dad of 4 and has now written a very personal 12th book. Here to share stories from over the decades, it's TV's hard man, Ross Kemp. Hi, Ross. How are you? How are you?
Good to be here. Good to be back on Loose Women.
I know. We've been chatting about umbilical cords. Any lying around your house?
Yes.
Oh, right. OK.
Yeah. So my wife, not me. Yeah. It looks like, well, they look, because we've got 3. They look like little worms that have been dried up, and they're in little boxes for the kids when they grow older.
Oh, that's nice.
So teeth occasionally. They haven't been taken by the fairy. Umbilical cords and locks of hair. Obviously, they want to hold on to it while they can. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be 18. If I was 18 and my mum said, "I've got something special for you," a dried up worm, a lock of hair, and some little teeth, milk teeth. But hey.
But listen, talking about you being 18, and of course we're going to talk about the book, Take Nothing for Granted, but you did mention being 18, and I just, the story of you meeting a girlfriend's dad just had me in stitches. You've got to share it with people.
So he didn't like me. I was from the wrong side of the railway tracks, quite literally. I lived in a commuter small town out in Essex, just outside of London, and the railway divided those that had mock Georgian houses and those that looked like regular houses, and I lived in a regular house. And we didn't have porches out the front with geraniums in big clay pots. And we certainly didn't have long drives up to our houses with tarmac, and the little white chips are very important. Yeah. They set you apart.
Yeah. Right.
And he looked a bit like, do you remember Charlie Chaplin's arch enemy with the big, he had like eyebrows that turned up, he had greased back hair, and he had like a hipster's beard before hipsters ever existed.
That's like a real
and he always wore a tie, and he was a big guy.
Well, you remember him, don't you?
Oh, I do. And to be fair, he was absolutely right. I shouldn't have gone anywhere near his beautiful daughter. I shouldn't. And as a father myself, I wouldn't allow me anywhere near my daughter. Anyway, my dad had a GS Club French car, but it had a handbrake, because it's French, rather than down where it should be, up at the top near the steering wheel. And so I was told never to park the car close to the house, because it brought down the price of the house. So I had to park it right at the top of the drive. And I worked all week in the local golf club as a waiter to buy this amazing bouquet of flowers for my girlfriend, my first girlfriend. And I knew the relationship was sort of doomed. She'd been off to see her pen friend, who was a guy from Germany. And I tried my hardest. But you've got to imagine then, I did not look like this. I had a quiff, right? I was boxing for Essex, playing rugby for Essex. Look at that boy. You know,
I would like that at the end of my driveway.
It was. Yeah, but he certainly didn't want that at the end of his driveway. So I remember parking the car at the top, wandering down, hoping that she would answer the door. And the door opened, and he walked into that beautiful porch with those beautiful big geraniums stuck in those clay pots. And as he looked at me, he looked over my shoulder. And as he looked over his shoulder, the car had followed me all the way down the drive. And it just picked me up, because it had like a pointy front. It picked me up, launched me into his arms.
No.
The geraniums, dust.
Oh, my.
The front of the porch, every window gone.
Oh.
The house shook. And I went, "These are for your daughter." And he went, "What have you done to my house?" Oh, and needless to say, that relationship was pretty doomed from that point.
God.
So not only
First
did
impressions and all that.
break my heart, but it also broke my bank balance.
Oh, bet it
Oh,
did.
no.
Well, listen, that story is in the book, because it's a very kind of personal memoir, this one, isn't it?
It flips around. My mind works a bit like a butterfly. I can't go from the beginning to the end. And because I've travelled a lot, and I was in EastEnders for 10 years, and then I went on to do dramas at ITV, and then 130-odd documentaries. It didn't seem right to start being born here and ending up there.
So chronological then.
So we use segues. So, for instance, I I lived, me and a guy from Chapeltown in Leeds, a guy called Joe Williams, we were like the black and white with Nail and I of the 80s. So we've got one bedroom flat, in the corner's a belling stove. The first night we go into it, it smells of wee, stinks of wee. We managed to have a can of baked beans. I put polythene bin liners down on my bed so I could put my sleeping bag on top so I wasn't touching the sheets.
Oh.
He falls asleep, I fall asleep, stinks of wee. They'd nailed the window shut and you can see Harrods from the window because it was in South Kensington. I'm going, I'll never get there. Anyway, about 11:30, a light comes on under the stove and I go, Joe, wake up. And it's like Close Encounters, it kind of like spreads light through the room. So I go, Joe, wake up. You won't wake up. So I won't put my feet on that carpet. Subsequently, I put my feet in more dirty stuff. But at those points, I put my trainers on, got my underpants on, and I hobble over and I open this cupboard underneath the sink. And I look down and I can see these ankles with a pair of bright pink knickers round them. So everything that missed the bowl rolled into our room.
Oh!
Now, you've got to think,
right,
how long did we
okay.
stay there? Oh. Well, it was only 5 minutes from drama school. It was £45 a week, £22.50 each. We stayed there for 2 terms, though we did have our own sort of perfume. When we came into class, people go, here they come.
Oh.
But I used that segue to say, there I am in Libya, which is quite a dangerous place, and we're doing a story about people trafficking, very serious subject. And we're in a safe house, supposed safe house. And my director, Marta, who'd been a friend for many years, very, very brave individual, she said, come here, come here. And I said, I can't go into that room, that's the woman's room. She said, come here now. So I come in and she's got this drawer. And obviously the wife of the people trafficker is not there in this safe house, but he is, and he's in the kitchen. So she pulls this drawer open, and in it are a lot of pink knickers. And I go, they're very nice, Marta, but I don't think they're going to fit me. And she said, underneath the knickers. So I part the knickers, and underneath that are 8 hand grenades, milled hand grenades, the ones that pull your pin out, throw type.
Wow.
So I said, OK. She said, no, underneath that. So the next drawer she pulls open is bras. And under the bras are 4 RPG warheads.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and we ended up getting held there for a period of time at gunpoint, and I did actually start to get a bit twitchy when that happened.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. It doesn't like go, I started here, I was born in Essex, I ended up living in Berkshire. It's all over the place.
Tell stories of all the different things.
Listen, we are going to be out of time, guys. You can't believe it.
Wow.
But the one thing that we get from this is you're an amazing storyteller, Ross. And I mean, so many people think, well, how'd you go from something like EastEnders to these incredible documentaries? And I guess for you, it is all about telling stories.
I love people.
Which is what we are going to get in the book. So there it is.
Oh,
Take it for granted. Brilliant title, by the way. Absolutely fantastic title. And I think we are going to see you back in the acting world. But Ross Kemp, everyone.